Hey everyone. So a number of weeks ago, you may recall we did a video where I was showing you an update to the lower console that is going to go in our screen used kit here. Now, the one currently in here is very nice, but it's not 100% screen accurate. So what we did is we took one of our screen used original lower consoles, we made a mold of it, cast a part out of it, and then that's the one that is going in here. So since that video, we've completed the replacement lower console. So today, we're gonna rip out the one that's in here and replace it with the series correct one. We'll show you what the differences are and things like that. And for those of you who are really hoping for another semi-video update, I'm sorry, it's winter here. There hasn't been too many updates, but hopefully in the next few weeks, we're gonna have something there for you. So, but for today, it's all about kit. So stick with us. All right, so taking you inside of kit, this is the panel we're going to be replacing today. Now I know what you're saying, well, this looks screen used and original, right? Well, it's not. This is a lower console that was from Knight Designs from many, many years ago. This has been in this car since we quote unquote restored it in 2012 is when this console has been in here. So it's been in here for 12 years at this point. But it's always been my dream to replace this with a copy of a screen used lower console. Now you might be asking yourself, well, you have an actual screen used lower console, why aren't you putting that one in here? And the simple reason is the screen used lower console we have does not have the cutouts for the window switches here. And I didn't want to cut an original part because I need the window switches up here to, put the windows down on the car. So I made the decision, instead of modifying an original part, to make a copy of it, and then that way I can cut it and do whatever. But the shape's a little bit different, and you'll see that here in a minute. But the first order of business is to actually get this out of the car, and then we'll put it side by side with the replacement one and show you the similarities and the differences. So let's get going. All right, so first off, this bezel here is actually just sitting in place. So we're gonna pull it out. It's always been sitting in place. And it's wired up, but actually this wire does not have any power to it. I put it in here and I ran it, but I never hooked the power up to it. So that's another thing that we're gonna have to get to, although that might be a little bit more involved, but one thing at a time. So first we're gonna unplug this, and then this whole piece comes out as one unit. You'd say it's in pretty decent shape. Those buttons are missing, as you can see, but all right, so we got that out. And now we got to get this piece out. So I think it's screwed, yeah, it's screwed in on this side. Let me show you. So you can see right here, there's two brackets here, and that's what holds it to the factory lower console. So let me go get a screwdriver and we'll get that out. All right. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna get these undone over here. All right. Now what we have is, so we got these wires, we've got the window switches here, and the dash is kind of heavy because of the monitor here. This is an actual CRT. So we want to be, yeah, we'll let that rest there. So this actually isn't too bad of a disassembly. Let's just see if I can get these window switches out. This is always a little tricky. Come on. Come on, you can do it. Okay, there's... Doesn't help that it's cold here, so my fingers... There we go. So there's one. So the blue is the passenger... Oh yeah, right-hand side. I have it marked. Let's see if I can get this top one out. That's one of the hard things about having the window switches up here. It's so hard to get them in and out. We're gonna do it. We're gonna get them out. Oh, there we go. Maybe I can get it out this way. I think what I need is a screwdriver. All right, so step one, let me get this other window switch pulled out of here. All right, one window switch out. Well, that gives me a little bit of room here. Let's see if I can get these. The problem is they have these tabs on the side. There we go. Perfect. All right. So we got our console out. And while we have it out, you can see the factory Firebird lower console here. So this is, you know, a factory lower console. Now, when this car was used on the show, remember, it actually didn't have a lower console in here at all. The studio put it in after the show ended. So really what you're seeing here is what the stunt guys saw. The window switches would have been in their factory place here. So whenever the studio put a console in, they didn't run the wires for the window switches. They pulled the window switches out here, and then they extended these wires out the back of the car and allowed a person off camera to operate the windows. So whenever we got the car and we updated it, obviously we want the windows to work, but we also wanted a lower console in here. So the decision was made, you know, put the lower console in like what they had at the studio, but add the window switches on the arm like they had on the Hero car. And that's what this is right here. So I got in here and rewired this and extended the window switch wires and everything. So that's where we're at with that. But yeah, this is all, everything you see here is all original from the show. This is all marred up here. I don't know if you can, let me bring you in. You can see these are fake screws made out of plastic. These are real screws. These are fake. And this one's all marred up. So I'm sure one of the stunt guys or the crew, or whoever's doing maintenance, probably at one point tried to remove this and thought this was a screw and then like marred it all up. But you can also see it's got a number of coats of paint on here. It's real shiny. That was the studio that did that too. And you can see here, it's shiny here and then not as much there. This panel is actually, I don't know if you can see it very well, but it's cracked along here. I had to glue it back, way back in the day. So that's what a screen used lower console looks like without the Knight Rider console in place. Got it? Good. All right, so let's take this guy into our workshop and we will show you the correct replacement console that's going in. All right, so I wanted to take a moment and show you this really cool item that one of our fellow Knight Rider fans, Clive Hobbs, had created. Now, this isn't 100% directly related to Knight Rider, but it's really, really close. And I think those of you out there that are restoring 82 to 84 Trans Ams are really gonna like this. So, one of my big complaints, you know, over the years, I've restored a number of Firebirds and Trans Ams. One of my biggest complaints was always in the graphics. All of the aftermarket graphics out there, I'm talking about the Firebird logos, the stripes along the bottom, all of the aftermarket companies out there make them incorrectly. Wrong color, wrong manufacturing process, and they're just not as good. So a year or so ago, I thought, well, I'm gonna recreate these graphics and I'm gonna do them properly. And I ended up talking to Clive, and he was doing the same thing. So basically, I gave him all of my research that I had. He had done his own independent research, put it all together, and he created these replacement graphics, which I'm gonna show you. So he just sent me one of the sets here, and they're pretty amazing. So first of all, we've got the Firebird logos. So this is the 2 sail panels and the nose bird. This is specifically 82 for 82s. He's working on the larger bird, the louvered bird for the hood, but these are the replacement Firebird emblems for there. He also does replacement hubcap emblems for the TurboCast wheels. And then we've got the Trans Am logos for the fenders. But what's really, really cool are these stripes. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar, there's companies out there that recreate these stripes, but they recreate them incorrectly. They're not on a black background. They're individual gold pinstripes that are just cut out of vinyl. And not only that, the aftermarket companies have the incorrect gold color as well. What Clive has done is recreated the stripes exactly, meaning these are all one piece. These aren't individual stripes. This is a black piece with the gold printed on. And it is 100% the correct gold color. And you can see here, they're cut to fit the car exactly. This is the front bumper. These are, I think, the rear quarters. This is around the front air extractor down here. Absolutely perfect. Now, just to give you an idea, I have a set of the aftermarket, the current aftermarket ones on here. So I just want to show you just how different they are. So this graphic, let me peel back the corner if I can a little bit and show you what I'm talking about in terms of I don't know if I can get that back. In terms of the color, I was going to show you. Well, here, I'll show you on the stripes. So you can see right here, these are the stripes that you get if you order the kit from pretty much anywhere except Clive. These are individual vinyl cutouts, not one strip. And can you see the difference in color? Look at that. This, what Clive has created, is correct. This is not. You put these on a black car, they're going to look almost yellow. They have, you know, they did cut them out properly, but it's just the way they manufacture them. These are just individual stripes. And also these don't last as long because I've noticed individual stripes on here will start peeling off. So definitely do not want to go this route. Here we go. So this is one of the birds from that aftermarket kit, and this is Clive's. You see the color difference? This is way too yellow. What Clive has created is correct. So I wanted to put this out there because I know some of you guys are restoring factory Trans Ams. You're not necessarily building replicas. And if you're restoring a black Trans Am with gold trim, this is the kit you need to get. No pun intended. So if you're interested, let Clive know. There's a link to his contact information down below. Reach out to him, tell him you want a set of these stripes, tell him you saw it on Knight Rider Historians page. I don't get anything from this. This is just one product that I have wanted for years and years, and Clive has delivered. So if you want this too, shoot him a message and he'll get you hooked up. All right, so this is the console we just pulled out of our screen use kit. This is a Knight Designs console from 2012. So you can see here we've got, you know, I had to make some alterations. I put a little piece of wood here because the dash was sagging too much. So that kind of helped prop it up a little bit. Those are holes from whenever I originally had a line lock light mounted there before I found out the actual location it was supposed to go in. I had cut this a long time ago for wires that were supposed to go in there. And then of course we've got this, which is in decent shape, but it's got some wear just from all the people getting in and out of the car over the years. So this is the one we're pulling out. This is the one we're replacing it with. This was molded from an original lower console. I think we are the only ones known in the world to have an original season 3 and 4 lower console. I don't know of anyone else that has one. So let me bring you in a little closer. We'll show you these two. You can see a little bit of the differences. So you can see here, first of all, this one, you know, the angle of it, you can see this one sits up higher than this one. If you measure it right here and here, this one's a little bit taller than what it should be. But, and of course the biggest difference here is the arm, right? This arm is actually a big chunk back here, whereas this one was just kind of curved. So, and also the bezel, I had to completely, this is a Knight Designs bezel from forever ago. And unfortunately this does not fit in here. So I had to completely redesign and have remanufactured the correct bezel there, but turned out really nice. And of course we got the rivets in here like the original had. Yeah, I'm trying to see. Yeah, there's just subtle differences. Like the arms are about exactly, like if you put them side by side, you can see here, they're about the same height, which is really good. So this one that, that Billy designed forever ago, he did an amazing job for just looking at screen grabs back in the day. It's really, really close. And honestly, I could have left this one in there and probably no one would know the difference, but I would. So I wanted to replace it with what actually, you know, was used on set, sort of, you know, a copy of it. So that's what we're looking at here. If I carefully pull this out, I've got this mostly all wired. So we can go ahead and apply some power to it and show you how that works. If I can get it back in here. It's a pretty tight fit, but there we go. All right, so let me get some power hooked up to this and we'll show you how this lights up. All right, don't mind the crudity of the wires right now, but let's see. Yeah, there we go. So as you can see, we got that LED array, these lights, and that floppy drive light there. There is a light, I haven't put it in yet, that's going to backfill these down here. So I do need to get that put in, but I definitely want to at least get the arm and the switches in and all that stuff. This I can just pull out and do that wiring and put it back in. But yeah, let me see if I can, yeah, there you go. There you can see it lit up pretty nice. I'm real happy with how this turned out. One other difference I noticed with this bezel is this opening was cut out too big, so the floppy disk kind of fell through the hole, and it I do have it glued in, but it's pretty much flush with the bezel where it shouldn't be. Here's how it should be, how it, you know, the whole bezel just, or the whole floppy disk face just sits on top of the bezel. So I got that all corrected as well. I think technically the only thing that I need to go back and fix is these LEDs, this array should stick up a little bit. It shouldn't be flush with the bezel. They need to stick up. So I'm going to go back and fix that at some point, but that's not a huge priority. And for those of you asking, I actually have an original floppy drive and an original Alpine deck, tape deck. They don't actually, you know, I can't actually use the real pieces. They don't fit in a car with the console below it. But I do have plans for those original pieces for our insert lower console, the screen used one that we're going to restore later on. So, all right, so we'll kill the power on this. There we go. And now let's go ahead, we'll get our window switches mounted and get this installed in the car. All right, so here we go. So first I'm going to take this out so I don't scratch it or damage it. So this is going to be a little tricky to get these window switches back in. I think what I should probably do first, get these put in. Do they fit? Of course they fit. There we go. Get the other one in here. Beautiful. This turned out really nice. All right, so now the question is, can I get my fat fingers in here to plug these in? This is tricky because there's not a ton of wire, but it's got to go in this way. Come on, Kit. You can do it. Let's bring it down this way. You know, I could edit this so it looks like I got these in immediately, but that wouldn't be fun. So we'll just, there we go. There's one. And come on. Oh, we're so close. There. Okay. And I didn't scratch the paint, which is always a good thing. All right, so we'll lift this dash a little bit, and hopefully there we go. Now, I think we're going to have the same problem, which the studio didn't really care about at the time, right? Because it was just a prop. But see how this the dash shakes? I think I need to put that wooden spacer in here to just keep the dash from shaking like that. So I'm going to do that here. So we got our wires. I'm not going to hook the wires up yet. So window switches all work good. Yeah, so then put that right in there. Come on. There. Now, it's real loose because again, there's no pressure here, and I got to drill holes and get these side brackets connected, the ones over here that I showed you earlier. But how about that? And it looks so nice. It's got the correct sheen too, because I don't know if you noticed, the one that came out of here was a gloss black, because at the time when I put it in here, the dash was gloss black too, but I've since converted it to the proper satin. So this is satin too, so now it all kind of ties together. And honestly, I think that looks really good, doesn't it? I'm real pleased with how that has turned out. So we'll get these two brackets connected. We'll get a spacer in right here, get it wired up, and call it a day. All right, so before we close up this episode, one thing I just noticed, and it was whenever I approached this from this side, this is much chunkier than the one that was in here. There's more meat right here, and it's not angled as much as the Knight Designs one. And honestly, as soon as I walked around here and I saw this installed, my first thought was, yep, that is screen used, because you look at screenshots and you can see this bulk here, and you can see it's more flat than curved down. So to me, that was a huge, huge improvement. So. All right, well, hope you enjoyed that. Next up, at some point, is to get this overhead console fixed and extended and, you know, all that fun stuff. We got a lot of work to do up there, but I'm real pleased with how that's turned out. So hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, let me know in the comments below. As always, thanks so much for watching, and we will catch you next time.
Hello friends, it's me, Kit. When I'm not out fighting crime, I like to follow my friends at knightriderhistorians.com. Check it out.